Do we have a string? Do we have the engine running? Do we have everything working in our favor? Is it existing? Is it there? Is it happening? Happiness? Wow! Or what? Do we have any problem with this? I don't think so. I don't hope so. Yes. It is finally time for us. Already 30 seconds I spent here. What? It is finally time for us to another salvation. What? No, salvation. No, what? Mm, uh, Shut up. Anyways, welcome once again. This is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful occasion. It is by itself. Yeah, a great moment to be here, and more so, a great day to start analyzing the news because, as it is whole event. I don't know what we are really going to talk about, but I finally noticed the possible interest in having that thing over there that is the how can I put it? The thing that yeah, the pin message basically that says, you know what, you can ask anything because I do not want to say it constantly. Or it isn't that I do not want, it is that I rather would not do it. So we have it there so that we have the problem fixed in a roundabout way instead of we have to really search for an answer for this. But anyways, aside from that, we are very fine, we are very beautifully okay today. Oh yeah, there is a problem. I have the volume too loud. So I think that it is a little bit less loud because I was getting kind of irregular. I was expecting it to be true, but I didn't really check. So there we have it. Problem fixed, I hope. But anyways, aside from that, we are going on with life. Everything is progressing at a pace at which I'm happy with it. So we are very fine. We are incredibly there to say. I well, okay. In a personal level, I am very happy that it is finally happening. The whole, so to speak, the whole thing that comes with try to be constant with this a little bit more, or not constant, consistent, because constantness is different from consistency. The fact that I could be constant in a manner in which I only stream one day, but I need to be consistent with what I myself say, and that is where the difference lies, and also where I need myself to be responsible for really doing the things that correspond my, so to speak, my part of this whole ordeal more than anything else. So yeah, we are very fine. I will dare to say. um, well, aside from that, oh yeah, today it will be kind of a long day. I I am not so sure how we are going to face the possible problem, let's say, or the celebrations tonight. I haven't completely yet decided how we will take it. I will guess it will be as we did with the 101, a very chill stream instead of really saying anything, not meaningful, but anything really heavy. So we have that, we have also, well, on the background there are always still things going on and all of that, so it isn't that it feels weird, it is simply that it takes and it requires time to be analyzed, and the simple analyzing of the stuff that might or might not happen ends up as always giving up the result of maybe it isn't the most proper thing to convey them if they might as well not happen. So at the very least things are happening at the very time. And hello Rosman, welcome to the stream today. We are very fine in this particular moment. From this side of the world, I hope you have also the possibility to be fine as everybody should try to be. So we're basically happy, fine, being, and I don't know what else to really say. Ideas, connections, concepts and things that deserve, or even if they don't completely deserve, they might as well have the part of being analyzed for the sake of it happening. So well, I think I I, I started today. mm, Okay, let me rephrase what I was going to say. I I woke up. I did a little bit of family moment sharing, and I went back to sleep. And after I woke up once again, I started my day with this particular idea that I was thinking and I was analyzing the possibility of really having a list of things to remember. Because in one sense, it is useful to have it, yes, hearing more so in a free spirit manner, but it isn't completely, I think, not that it isn't useful, it is rather that it becomes better to not be tied down by a particularly ending a term when the possibility itself is present and it is open for us to go over whatever we want. Also, I think it is completely late at this point, but I never checked out. Let me know. What the fuck? Let me check out. Is it working properly? Do we have good audio? Didn't even. What? I think my audio is a little bit low. I don't know why. Give me a second. What? I don't have any game. What? What? What happened here? What? Anyways, I think that is more than enough. Now, yeah, it should be more than enough. I think it might be even too loud if it gets really loud. But well, aside from that, going back to what I was saying, it shouldn't be a necessity to have a list. Even more, because in a sense, this becomes kind of a place in which if there is nothing else for me to do, and if there is nothing else for us to really go over, we can spend time thinking about the things that come to mind. Because I saw it like this: if something is a recurrent idea in your mind, it might as well be because that idea itself wants to be analyzed, and because that idea itself requires to be solved, so to speak. Because, for example, I hardly think about the goodness that it is my life if I do not insert it in my train of ideas. But if I leave it, so to speak, uh, my brain and my conscious part of myself to decide well, what will it be, the next thing that will appear on my mind. It, it is only the worries that exist, and it is only the problems that I yet have to solve that rise up once again, I will say. So that is why I prefer to do it in a more free spirited manner, not because we are really free spirited, but rather because whatever appears and us being completely, not being demolished, but rather completely subjected to a very, very aggressive view instead of simply letting it go. And for example, a good way to say it is it isn't that an idea appears and as it appeared, it fades away into infinity of the brain. It is rather like whatever appears takes takes place into the conversation that we're not having here because we force that to happen and because it is a possibility in this case. It also feels great to have it constantly existing rather than to think it it has no place for it to happen. In a sense, as as kind of I have been saying here, it feels too forceful to try and have anything in particular be the main topic of when you have the possibility analyzing anything at all. Because if you really, in personal perspective, if you really have not developed the skill of finding and deconstructing the things that appear in your mind at any given point, it might as well be a problem. I accept that it also has another side, this particular one, and that is also it is very true that you yourself not only need to have that skill, but also you need to comprehend and you need to, so to speak, be chill in the sense of you know what? It will not really need to be that much um, fast or that much speedful, whatever it is you are going over with in your life. In the sense of you will probably get tired even more if you don't even have what is it, the, the habit of analyzing things. You will pretty soon get tired of doing it. But at the very least, know that it is a possibility for you to create that in yourself. It feels better than to really say, no, this is not a problem that I have to face, and this is not a thing that I have to solve myself. So yeah, I guess that is the way that I wanted to say it. Because more than anything else, it is only a recurrent idea that happens because sometimes on the other side, it feels like it is too much when the potato is the only one who has anything to say. But at the same time, in this particular sense, not because I try to mean it in a way in which you are the one to blame because you hear too much. No, it is more like if the possibility is always open, and if whoever is hearing this also decides to not take that possibility to ask whatever they want, it is better to simply keep going with whatever is happening, was happening before, and whatever was already existing, mm, in a manner in which it shows that the progress is always existent, not because if potato isn't talking about anything particular, the whole progress is lost. It is more like potato might as well talk about any single thing at any single given point in time. Um, he decides to do the things that he decides to do because he finds them to be the most fitting, not in a constructive way or in a rather lazy way, but rather in a manner in which things end up getting answered more logically than if they were to simply be ignored, I would say. And yeah, I guess that. I guess that that is how we do it. Even if it doesn't make complete sense for others, for myself, I find it to be the most fitting answer in this particular case. But well, I guess aside from that, going back into mundane things, yeah, I forgot to say, or if I did so, I already forgot. When I look at the celebration of the night. Oh, yeah, yeah. I said it earlier. I know. I remember now. The thing that I forgot to say is I need to create things to hype that up a little bit more. And I know that particular one I said it yesterday, but I say it once I want to reaffirm my need to do it. Because at the end of the day, if it is going to be a celebration, why my why as well not try to make it something big? Even more when I am putting some time into planning it into existence rather than to go directly live without even thinking about it and without even planning anything at all. But well, I guess enough of this were fun. So moving on to the next problem is, but well, not problem, what? The next idea that is how much time we have been spending here and how much time we have been enjoying here. It feels rather amazing to see that we have already been in a long journey. And I don't know. From my personal perspective, I really like when I have the possibility of go over already existing content and not not live transmitted content more than anything else because it always has that tiny but at the same time important existing possibility of, you know what, you can go over the things that you want as long as you're willing to accept the not part of responsibility that is fit to you, but rather as long as you're able to understand that they are going to be, so to speak, things that will happen to you. No matter what happens and no matter how much time you spend with them, they will be a crucial part of your adventure and they will be in this same manner something important for you to consume. Not in a sense of I am bored, therefore I consume anything. Rather, kind of the opposite. I am interested in developing myself a little bit more. Therefore, I use my time. I won't say wisely, or ignorantly simply use my time because the usage of time is something that will inevitably happen. I simply use it in a manner in which I am conscious that I'm using it. And in this particular case, the idea was if I have the possibility of going over already existing content that has it isn't that has that is not tied down by the so to speak the barriers of being live transmitted in a way in which I can consume it at the very least at a double pace. Because personally, if I am paying attention to whatever it is that I am watching, I do not really have a problem with going over those things at a double-faced pace, so to speak. At the end of the day, I think as long as you're really paying attention, it becomes a possibility for you to watch them faster. And I don't really think it is okay. Something that I have seen recently is the idea of what happens. This becomes a constant in you because you are trying to get more time to enjoy other things. Yes and no. I mean, particularly, I have so to speak, as well already know, most of the time that I spend offline is used for, as well as I work here, thinking and consuming even more content to get when I am here back even more proficiently things going. In this same manner, it happens that I hate to, so to speak, transmitting and more importantly, the whole side of, what I might as well use my, not only my time, but my my whole aspect of being the entertainer itself. I prefer to use it in a manner in which I can extract the most out of this whole experience and to simply be one who goes with the flow, let's say. Or it isn't that I do not go with the flow, I have to create a flow that I myself find my past, present, and future self enjoying it the most. Let's say like that. Because I don't know, it feels weird to see that even more when you go back into the archives of history, so to speak, you see people doing things that they do not enjoy for the sake of using their time and not for the real meaning of you might as well do things that you do not completely enjoy as we said yesterday, things that are not enjoyable because you have to do them and because there are responsibilities that get fulfilled when you do them. Not for that, for the sake of I have free time, therefore I will do this particular thing that I do not enjoy, this particular thing that I do not want to have in my life, this particular anything like that. So it doesn't stop being weird, but it only becomes a rather a problem that leaves my side and becomes other people's problems, I would say. In that sense, I would go better to say it requires even more of analyzing and even more of a deep observation because if I feel like I am really deep with me, and if I feel like it was already good from my perspective, I might as well go and spend time seeking how to give this particular tool to others. At the end of the day, already it is, in my case, proven to be working. And on my case, I can even confidently say, yeah, I do not have to deal with this anymore. Therefore, when that happens, I have really also become aware of the reality that is, you know what, I might as well not only have to worry about another part of this whole, not, not because I was going to say, not this whole process, but rather the most tiresome one, that is to not really notice and to not really be conscious about how much you really need to work on some aspects of the adventure itself that is life. So I guess that I guess, but it ended up feeling more on self-conceited than anything else. So we might as well move on from that into something more interesting. Mm, well, that's it for today. Yeah. Let me drink some water because I could complain. I would prefer not to do it, but I could use my time complaining about things that have been already kind of tiring. But I do not gain anything really by doing that. So I prefer to not try and spend my time doing that. At the end of the day, for example, main complaint that I have nowadays is I went back to using my time doing a little bit of um, physical maintenance, let's say, not real exercise, only maintenance of myself. And because I am doing that, I end up feeling once again during the whole day tired out, and during the whole day really dried of my energy compared to what it was before. A whole, so to speak, a whole time in which, as long as I needed it, I had the possibility of igniting that spark that might as well make me numerical things run, for example, at the very least 1 kilometer if it is completely needed in a short amount of time. But now, because I am back to this, I know that I might as well have the capacity of doing it. But if I were to do it, I will also have to deal with the whole side of I will be hurting like shit after that because physically I'm constantly not well. I think it is hurting, but in a sense you already get accustomed to it, so it becomes only bothersome, not really painful. It it is okay. It is as if, for example, you were constantly being constrained, and it isn't really when you are constrained. It isn't really, so to speak, painful. Even less, it is something that you will say, "Oh, please, I cannot live with this." It only is, for example, if you were to tape your arms a little bit tight, if it really isn't bad, but you will rather not have that sensation, even more over your almost whole body, because that is when it becomes really tiresome and really annoying more than anything else. But I guess I prefer that and still having my mental clarity than to not have anything at all. And even also, even if I know that on one hand it might be true, it also is true. The other side of this, you need to see, or when it isn't that you personally, potato needs to accept the responsibility that comes with. You want to be healthy, therefore you will have to do some sacrifices. If you want to be healthy in the future, you need to let go of your actual mm, short-term enjoyment of your well-being for the sake of, as I said before, in a future moment or for more consistent in the future itself, having that whole enjoyment existing. And also because there is also the other side of the thing that I have already said 20 times. Being healthy means being healthy overall. So stop with it. Next thing. It is only a circle in which I still haven't convinced myself completely about it, I would say. And in that particular manner, it only requires even more comprehension about the problem. I guess, from a personal perspective, I would even say that this, if you are aware that you need to work on your things, and you are not aware as to why you need to do it, you might as well spend more and more time analyzing the, so to speak, what is the results of not acting on the problem itself. Because, for example, if I were to drive myself around my memory, I would even say I dared to forget about the already existing consequences of not having taken in any real consideration my health at all in the past. In a manner in which right now, if I were to do it, if I were, it isn't if I were, as I am doing it right now, I find myself hurting even more. And as I find myself doing it right now, I also notice that if I were to do it in the future even more and negate my actual self well being for the act of enjoying time and little more and all of that, if I were to do both of those things instead of really prioritizing my own health as it is properly done, I will really have not only a worse time being alive, but in general, a worse enjoyment of anything at all. Not not because, as we have discussed before, um, when you're healthy, your whole being works better, but also because when you're unhealthy, a funny thing happens, and that is you yourself know it, and you yourself become your biggest judge because nobody has your whole, so to speak, history to know that what you're doing is really bad. Only you yourself can really be so judgmental that you feel like every single day you're doing the wrong things, and every single day you're going over things in a manner in which you, even yourself, will even stop doing, as long as you really took responsibility by your own hands instead of deciding to leave it at the free will of the universe or things like that. But I guess uh, it comes, or I feel it comes, from the side of I enjoy my time complaining. Because if I do something while I complain, I also have the possibility in the future of saying, I did it even if I didn't enjoy it. And in reality, it is kind of us. You know what? If I do not enjoy the things that I am doing, I might as well keep doing them even more because they show that, in a sense, I am progressing towards something. Uh, I don't know, and in this particular instance, it once again came to mind the idea that I had been trying to fight lately. That is how much of this process is real, anything at all, and not so to speak self-martyrization of one. Because when you stop really having anything to work with and you only say, you know what, I enjoy the punishments that come from life because I am doing these things and all of that blabbery, let's say, it really has not that much of a usefulness, and it comes more like from a side of trying to show off what you're becoming. But I think, yeah, in a particular manner in which we're engaging here, I do not see it happening completely. Because if it were to be true, it also will be true that we use every single day of our lives and we use every single opportunity to kind of, what is it? To kind of compare what we are achieving here and to kind of compare and try to be as clear as a day that we are superior to anybody and we are using our time in a manner in which we are really proud of it. When in reality, that is when it really becomes hurtful, not only for others, think that you really do not seem to care when you do it, but even for yourself, because if it is bad for other people, people will stop associating with you, you know. And when that happens, that is when you really notice how highly badly you are screwing up, so to speak. So I don't really know what to say in that sense. I guess it comes mostly from the reality of being mentally aware that in this case, it is not that because it feels bad and it is good to do it. It is rather it feels good to do it because the rewards themselves are incredibly good. The process might not be the best one to go with, but if you find another way in which this can be a more joyous experience, you might as well take that path instead of what we are doing here. Because, for example, the constant thing that is always present in these cases, the individual always has so much potential about making anything that they are going through as joyous as they can. And if you negate more than anything else from yourself that the reality, and you kind of incarcerate your whole process in, so to speak, self-punishment because you did wrong and self-depreciation because you had the possibility to be better in the past and blah blah blah, instead of really noticing how beautiful it is to use your time in things that you really enjoy and in things that you really not only enjoy for the sake of enjoy, but enjoy because you want to go to a place in which you are going to be perpetually better in life. Because as it kind of comes from anybody who is alive at all, you notice that you could be better because you were worse, basically. In the same manner, you notice that you could be in a place in which you have a better time because you were in one in which you yourself have the capacity of accepting that it wasn't a joyous operation. In this manner, you can work on the problems themselves in a manner in which you enjoy them more than anything else because you know that doing that is more rewarding than using your time on distractions and or sorry on things that are not really good for you, as we have been saying here. At the end of the day, it is always only the individual who can show themselves the path that lies ahead of them in a manner in which it is enjoyable. Others, okay, in this case, I think about others in that case might show you ways in which they did things, but if you yourself end up being completely obfuscated by your own concepts and your own decision at conscious mind of saying, but this is not going to be something that I will do, and closing the doors of opportunity for yourself because you simply want to say, nah, this is not for me, man. If you decide to do it like that, you're only making it harder for you yourself. Nobody is really going to suffer, and even more in a society in which we encourage the individuals to not take real action on the problems that they feel really haunted by. In those kind of societies, it will be even harder for you to get involved if you do not accept the part of responsibility that lies in yourself of knowing that yes, it is going to be horrible and it is going to be painful too. But as long as I myself, as the one who is going to take the adventure, notice how much I could really try to take my time, so to speak, spending perfectioning and deriving and obtaining the most joy that I can out of this whole, so to speak, process, as long as I notice that, I could even make it to be the adventure that I have been searching for, not in other things, but in myself. And that is where it lies, the reality of, you know, it could be so much great, it only is, so to speak, struck down by your own innermost, easy to attend to desires of self-sabotage, I would say. And in that same manner, it isn't that we don't like to self-sabotage even have, because it is it is a concept that kind of negates your own efforts when you use it in this manner. It isn't that you lose your time and that you spend it unwisely. It is that as long as you don't have so really clear in your mind how important it will be for you to work on those particular sides of your own reality, why would you even try it? Therefore, it is more like as we kind of like to say here, a veil that you use and a veil that you have in front of you, negating you of a better time and a better, so to speak, wholeness of reality rather than anything different at all. Because when you also have present in yourself that you could reach a state in which bliss is more present than anything else, you also start to strive for that. It is kind of, I do not want to add an insult. Okay. It is kind of idiotic in the sense in which you only pay attention to one idea of, but if I were to spend my time doing it, I will be sacrificing my present self for the sake of my future. And it is completely true. But what you're doing now is kind of the complete opposite. You're prioritizing your present self instead of really paying attention that in the future who will be in the most amount of pain is you. And if you do not take care of the problem right now, you will have to do it in the future. But the problem will not disappear, and the problems will not stop being something that everybody has to deal with in life, in a sense. And yeah, I think it makes no sense to expect that the same thing that we kind of have said 20 times already here. Things by themselves will get better if you do not pay attention to them. As long as they are in your control and as long even more as they are something that you can directly affect, it is really important to try and exert your own authority in those realities more than anything else. Because it isn't the life of others that you're seeing, it isn't the life of others that you're influencing or not, that you're trying to get there to see if they have something to derive happiness from or not. It is your own one, and it is more than anything else. Even if let's say like this, even if you do not see a necessity of living, so to speak, a lineage in which your bloodline will keep existing, let's say like that, even if you do not find a necessity in doing that, it does not negate the reality itself that also exists in every single one of. As long as you're able to solve the hard things that you have in your life, you might as well not only find a desire in that, but a desire in giving not only to those who are close to you, but also to those who might never even knew about who you were something back. Because if you negate the possibility from any single individual of being really happy, what are you achieving by doing that? What is really that you can, so to speak, get out of doing it? You already are searching for happiness. Why would you try to do it in a manner in which others also get hurt? Because you need to see it in this way. It isn't that bad things will happen to you if you do it. It is you will enjoy life in a manner in which it stops being so bittersome and so based on doing bad things to others. In a sense in which it is hard to compare it even more because personally I think it really needs to come from that own perspective of having been there that it becomes kind of problematic. But I would say let me see. I think I could extrude an example of my own past, but I don't know. I think in this case, while analyzing it, let me say, it also comes to reality that you really, when you analyze yourself in the past, you tend to be very lenient with who you were. So we're having also this particular problem here. Mm, okay, I think this is it. You might as well not even realize how bad you were to others, because accepting that part of reality by itself ends up being really hurtful, and really noticing how much you dealt damage to others ends up really showing, in a sense, how much goodness you could have done, and instead decided to use your time in things that in the future, as long as you're able to recognize what was bad, even hold yourself accountable and be hard yourself about the things that you did to others. And that is the problem. Um, I, I, I don't really think that that's the whole argument, but it feels too much. I think, as always, if you do not have the tools correct, hearing this feels like a punishment more than anything else. And also, hello, Ingo, let me read. Let me read what you said. ah, Goop me, Goop. Wow, wow. Yes. I will do it. I will do it for $10,000. I will do it. Um, I will do it. As long as it is $10,000, I will do it. No problem. But I mean, it is more an sponsor or a corpo because at the end of the day, they want to change the whole everything. It feels more like a corporation. Well, I mean, company and corporation doesn't mean kind of the same. Yeah, I guess. I guess. Water. But well, I guess. I guess we're pretty fine. I mean, or no, I would like to take it from this point because it feels kind of sad to negate the possibility of advancing even more in any kind of direction at all. And that is, if you yourself notice that the experience becomes kind of hurtful in a manner in which you really say, I want to avoid it at all costs, the fact that you're noticing your errors is more useful than anything else. And as long as you keep at it, even if it feels painful, because you notice what was your own problem in a sense in which not you're not punishing yourself for your past actions, but you're only revealing to you what was the problem itself. Kind of psychological point of view, you did detach from the problem and you accept that it exists, yes, but it doesn't completely represent who you are and it doesn't completely embody what you are and anything like that. It only is a problem that happened to the past you, and as long as you're able to fix it in the present, or at the very least recognize that it isn't affecting you anymore in the present, it gives you tools to keep working with reality itself. Sometimes you need kind of, and that is the most hard thing to say, I think. You need to realize that you might as well need to bathe in that pain, in a sense in which not self martyrdom, but rather acceptance. Because if you're not able to accept who you were and go back to what you want to be, it might as well never be a complete journey, or never be a complete realization of what your journey is. Because as long as anybody is not only aware but really trying to get from one place to another, you first and foremost need to realize why is it that you do not like the place in which you were in before. I think so. It makes no sense to expect that my whole adventure will be completely enjoyable for myself because I am the one who can shape it. Let's say like that. So I guess it becomes weird, but as long as you have the possibility of feeling the pain, but not letting the pain itself of what your past self was and the realization that it would be better, as long as you see those things in a manner in which it does not completely derogate you, you can keep going, but not simply keep going, but rather, let's say like this, keep advancing for the sake of having in mind also as another beacon of or a pillar of real intention, the idea and the acceptance that you were in a bad place and that because you were in a bad place, you never want to go back to it. And it doesn't negate who you were, it doesn't negate what you did. It only shows to you, yes, I was there and I will rather never be back there. It doesn't mean that I hate those who are in those same situations right now or in the future. It simply talks about my own point of view because the individual needs to realize what their own problems are. If you do not do it, who but you really has the capacity of showing you and letting you yourself accept who you were? I guess, in a sense, the only thing that really is important here is if you feel like your problems are too much of a burden, so to speak, not only for you yourself, but also for those who are around you, in a manner in which they might as well require to be solved by others and to be addressed by others because you feel like you need pardon from the outside, you need first and foremost to accept that part of responsibility. Because if you think people needs to tell you and people has the obligation to show you that they have forgiven you, if you do not talk about it, you cannot expect also to that by itself happen even more because in and nowadays that is something completely unrelated, but it feels sad. Nowadays we we have created the embodiment of I might as well not address other people's problems because if I were to do it, I might as well lose them in a manner in which I will really have to depart with those who I really enjoy time spending with. So I will rather give myself the possible solutions or realities that lie in their problems because I prefer to not even try to address them, not even try to show them what could be a solution to what is already happening in their lives. And because I prefer to keep being with broken people, even if the broken people itself does not enjoy being with themselves, let's say like that. Because, in a sense, who I am to accept the responsibility, the incredibly huge responsibility of affecting anybody else and giving more so hope to anybody else when sometimes even I have a hard time finding it on my own self, I guess. But in that same manner, it kind of goes back to what we have been talking for a long time here already. it comes not only from you but also from your whole society. The realization that as long as the wholeness of it tries to reach a state in which the individuals are good not only with one another but also with themselves and are in more than anything in good terms, that is where things really become beautiful because that is when the reality and the desire to encourage that kind of behavior comes true. But if you prefer to keep things to yourself and if you prefer to not address the real problems because you might as well fear losing somebody, in a manner I would even say it becomes more important to try and address the problems because you are already losing them, not by not taking action, but because you do not know how much they already are in pain with who they are. So, if you as the individual really appreciate your time with those who are around you, you might as well address the realities that are surrounding both of you, so to speak, because it is in the real appreciation of those who are around you. And I would even say love, because I don't have a real definition of love so far. After so much time spent thinking, I don't even know what fucking love means. But I will, if I were real, I would like to say that it is a way to really show love, because you want people to be good, and because you want those who are around you, no matter who they are, to reach even a better place. Because in that same sense, it goes back to what Galvan talking. You need to be somebody who already went through this experience, and you need to notice yourself that because you were able to do it, why nobody else would have the possibility of doing it? And of the complete opposite. Every single individual is capable of taking care of themselves more than what they realize right now, but it only comes into fruition when you start working and when you start putting in time for that. If you negate the reality that it will be a painful experience, you are negating yourself of the fruits of your own labor in a manner in which you will completely enjoy every single part of this, and not because the reality itself will be something beautiful, but rather because the whole act of working in who you were and who you want to be gives you more liberation from this present moment, so to speak, and more than anything else, from your own life, of so to speak, not from your own life, from the own idea that life is pain than anything else. Let's say like that, because at the end of the day, the whole message, as always, is this tries to be as concise as possible in trying to give others a message and an idea in which they could try to work on their actual and already existing real inconveniences. But if you are not even willing to accept those, who but you will really show that to you. And as I said before, if you do not even open up to others, why do you expect anybody when they already fear losing you to give you anything back and to even try to intrude in your life in that sense? Because if this were a different world, we don't even have the necessity of talking about these problems and talking about these realities and blah 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 blah. In reality, what really happens is, you know what? Because you're aware what you need to work on, because you're really there mentally in a space in which you have in mind what are the particular inner parts of your, so to speak, necessity. You also see and you also have in mind what it first and foremost needs to be addressed for you to progress in anything at all. Because the one who could give you more potential than anything else is you. And it isn't that you are holding yourself back, it is only that you are not completely capable of seeing what is in front of your own future creation skills, let's say like that. Because, as I said before, it has no meaning at all to say, oh yes, the individual is incapable of realizing how good they could be. No, no punishment here. No fucking, you know what? You are doing so bad and blah 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 blah. No, it is only how good you could be in the future, and it is only how even more beautiful you could make your own reality, as long as you were willing to put your time. And the biggest problem is realizing how much time, effort, and so to speak, sacrifices it will require from you to do it. Because you might as well see, and that is the most painful thing, to see that sometimes people might as well desire you to keep being who you were in the past. And I think in those times, it you cannot avoid the pain, but you need to find ways in which you need to avoid it, not avoid it, eliminate it from your own life mm, as fast as you can, let's say. Because at the end of the day, if you are, what the fuck, if you are trying to be better and if you are trying to become somebody who is happier and you notice that somebody is holding you down out of nowhere, if you notice those things to be real, it might as well, even if it hurts, lose that person, it might as well be better to let go of them because their focus and your focus, if you already, sorry, if you already try to show them that having an easier time being alive is the objective of this, and they decided to reject it, after that, now, yes, if they decided to still negate this wholeness, it might as well be useful to let them be and to let them do whatever they want with their lives, because in that sense, it is you who wants to be able, and it is them who wants to not even pay attention to your voice. So, if you feel, for example, like your life depends on, or not your life, your adventure in this case depends on the reciprocal interest of others, you might as well try to surround you with those who are in that path well. And even if you don't feel like it is needed for you to get constantly, so to speak, what is it? Constant gratifications from others and constant words of encouragement for your own adventure because you already know or you already feel that you're the only one really capable of having a great time with it and you do not really have the necessity of being surrounded by that people. At the very least, it still does not negate the reality that those who were surrounded with in the past were trying to not already get anywhere too. So why keep something that is only shackling you from your own potential when you could be, as we kind of have said before, you could be even better than what you could ever expect. And that is the problem of this. Not the problem, the kind of solution of this. I would even say, because the problem was that basic. The problem comes into fluctuation when you realize that there is a desire of you to advance into someone, first and foremost. And when you confront that problem, you also see people around you trying to not get you to advance into anything at all. The second phase of this is you need to let them be with their lives and not let others' influences be as big as they want to make them on your own life. Because the most beautiful part of this is the individual can always take control as much as they are willing of who they are and who they are going to become. That is why in the future it becomes so gratifying to get anything out of your real efforts instead of, so to speak, letting others give you things that are not only a detriment but also a hurt to your own self. Because yes, life is weird, but it never gets so weird as to not having the possibility of advancing anywhere at all. Never. It only comes from the realization that it is painful, yes, but you need to change your mindset, let's say like that. Not your mindset, sorry, I don't like that word. Your way of seeing things in your own life constantly, let's say like that. Because yes, I don't really have I don't think I have anything that relates to this particular one. It was kind of a long time that I went on for the last how much? 50, almost 55 minutes. So yeah, I guess that's it so far. I do not really expect anything else. to gain from this. So I might as well try at the very least to believe, and if it isn't clear, hmm, write somebody else. Because as always, it is beautiful, but it might as well come to a close. Why? Because sometimes it even is too much. Even if it feels great, it is too much for others. So yes, we, as always, I think it never stops being beautiful to have time to do this, and also it never stops being something completely enjoyable to be here present, hearing these things, and so to speak, letting, not letting, more rather, taking real pride in being ourselves who complete our own puzzles in life, rather than to let life happen, so to speak. Because the main motto is always life will not happen in a manner in which you will enjoy it by itself. You need to create those moments of happiness, and you need to forge things that will really give you something beautiful. But if you're not willing to do it, nobody else will really try to mm, intervene you in that sense. Mostly because nobody really expects those who are around them to cry for help. And when you do not expect others to do it, you yourself cannot even try to do it. So yes, I think that's it for today. I might as well leave, as I said before, with a ring. Let's see, we have, we have someone. Um, yeah, I think this guy is very super. What? Sorry, I wasn't really watching chat. Sorry. Hello, Gimback. I was searching for some item. We have been going for a long Gimback. We have been really. I think I won't say completely overboard, but I think it was kind of a long ramble about positivity and all of that. So it feels kind of sometimes hard to be going so much without really knowing. Sometimes if the happiness that I feel really gets through to anybody else, or it only gives them the sense of, you are doing things bad. And that's why personally I like to keep them short. Also, not in this particular case, but also sometimes because it is tiring, so to speak, and I prefer to not, or not that I prefer, I would like to not perform being so tired. So yeah, that's the wholeness of this. We were we were literally yeah, like thank you for the let me see. Hey, so you underscore Twitch. Who is it? You let me see. You underscore Twitch. Who's this person? I never heard of this. You underscore Twitch. Twitch. What, what is this place? Let me see this. What is this? Yeah, yeah, could be. Ah, you, not you. You with all you. Uh, that that makes a little bit more of sense. Okay, sorry for well, there it is. Let me do this. And well, we will give you pleasure of intro by writing who you say, basically. I think. Mm, let me put it on. Let me. Is this ASMR? What? This is. I think this is Japanese, man. I do not. I do not. No. I do not. I do not like Japanese. So good luck. Good luck in here. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, we are already somebody who likes Japanese. Good luck if you understand it, and good luck if you also don't understand it. Mm, so far, for today, we're done. So let us live. Let us have a tiny rest, and as always, let us get once again together when time decides that it is a good time for us. And remember to take care of yourself. Remember to always never surrender, and please be ready for things that will happen because you cannot speak them. You cannot what? You cannot avoid them. And well, I guess we will see. Ray, and as always, well, no, she doesn't allow raids. Get fucked. She doesn't allow raids. Get wrecked, my bro. Uh, this was so close to being good, you know. This was so close to being something. I don't know. I don't remember what who this person is, but let's see. Because if they are not on the stream right now, you might as well write the videos. I mean, who was it? I don't remember. But we're writing this, basically. I think it was one of your recommendations. Arthur Abbott. Let me get there, okay? Let me we're spending so much time literally finding somebody to write. This is amazing. This is quality content. This is the one that I get for Twitch. He's streaming. Let me see. Arthur. Wait. Oh no, yeah, Arthur Abbott. Okay. I don't know why I had Arthur. No, I had the different. Sorry. But well, let me then, if it is possible, let me get there and let's hope that this person has the rates allowed. Yeah, content, literal content. There it is, right here. And let's see if we have the luck of reading this person, Arthur Abbott, who is just chatting. I think he's speaking full. I think. So basically, we will see. Ah, no, wait. This. Yeah. No, wait. This because I think Potato Red is, or well, the emote is subscriber, so there we have it, the free version on chat. Well, as I was, sorry, what the fuck, as I was saying before, please take care of yourself. We will find each other when time gets us once again together. Now it is time to raid.